Hey, peace world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. My name is Wood. Jump into some bite down boxing. Please though, before I get into that, if you could support the channel, if you are into betting on sports, gambling, wagering, please help support the channel by checking out bet us, but go to betus.com.pa. I should have brought my little cheat sheet down there. So maybe I've messed that up totally, and let me jump into it. Maybe I'll come back and put it in the link. I love some boxing and coffee. Seeing some of these overseas fights early in the morning or earlier in the day is a wonderful thing to me. Big boxing weekend, way more action than I really even thought about earlier in the week. We have the women's Michaela Mayer and Hahn, I think her name is Jennifer Hahn, on ESPN later. On Showtime, we have Lubin and Fundora. We've already just had the Triple G card this morning at 5 a.m. Eastern time. And then what else? Oh, and then Ryan Garcia. Before I get into the Triple G stuff, I'm not trying to say I'm the most mature person, that we can't go out here and with our criticism, with our expressing our disappointment in athletes and whatnot. But looking at this Ryan Garcia situation, I just don't understand what makes boxing people and boxing fans so miserable that for a week and a half now, 2 weeks, I've just been sitting here looking at fan comments towards the kid. What makes boxing so weird that people lose their freaking minds when it comes to dealing with the athletes? Like I said, I have nothing wrong with talking about people, calling people out on stuff, but some of these people act like Ryan Garcia has affected them. Like he's hurt or somehow cost them money or hurt their livelihood or something. I just don't get it. Should the kid have not come back? I mean, would people have been happy if the kid just walked off and never came back? I mean, the dude had a bad moment, pulled out of some fights, and now he's trying to resume his career. I think boxing and I think the lightweight division is better with him in it, personally. So I'm interested in the Tago fight tonight. And, I'm looking forward to the fight. And, I'm not pulling for the kid to win necessarily. I just want to see if he was what some people thought he was, what Joe Goosen thought he was when he was 17 or 18 or whatever. I just don't understand why people lose their mind when they get to talking about boxing. The card this morning, shout out to the Junto Nakatani kid who took out Ryoto Yamauchi in the 8th round stoppage. I wouldn't mind seeing Nakatani against Bam Rodriguez. They mentioned Julio Cesar Martinez as a possible opponent. Does he stay at flyweight or does he move up to super flyweight? Either way, I wouldn't mind seeing him against any of those guys. Even if it was Chocolatito or Juan Francisco Estrada, they can mix and match those parts any way they want, and we could get good fights. But the kid is pretty interesting. 5'7", flyweight, good power. I vaguely recall him fighting the Angel Acosta dude a while back. Good performance from him. Triple G, as you know, he stopped Ryoto Murata in the 9th round. I mean, you saw it for yourself, man. Triple G celebrated his 40th birthday yesterday, and now you go out here on the road in Japan. Dude got off to a rocky start. I mean, his legs aren't really there. Anything that he does moving forward, it's going to be all action, firefight, a slugfest, however you want to look at it. It's going to be a fight, which benefits us, right? Like, we don't want to see people dance around and move around excessively and whatnot. We want guys to fight. And if he does sign another contract, which the expectation is that he would fight Canelo later this year and complete Matchroom or DAZN's passion project from the last 3.5 years, or however long they've been trying to build that fight. But he's just going to be a guy that has to go in there with all guts and will and determination, you know. Because his legs are kind of gone, he used to be he was a pretty fluid punching guy. The jab was always nice. But now because he's slowed down so much and things look less fluid, wow, he was getting banged around early. Murata came out a little bit bigger than Triple G, came out going to the body well. We saw that. I thought they were very honest on the commentary. Corey Erdman talked about, you know, he didn't react well to the body shots. That's a major signal to someone like a Canelo who was going to attack the body. Him and Jonathan Banks, this whole relationship and Jonathan Banks trying to get the dude to move and have better rhythm, and that's a waste of time. That's not going to happen. And one thing I hated about the broadcast is we can't hear what the hell is being said in the corners. I would have loved to have heard what Banks was trying to talk to him about through the first 5 to 6 rounds when things clearly weren't going his way. So basically, he just weathered the storm. You know, he started pushing Murata back somewhat. He was landing some decent shots here and there, and kind of wearing Murata down, who did slow down in the second half, the start of the second half of the fight, 6th, 7th, and 8th round, but just not the great offensive attack that we used to see. And I mean, it's been slowing down probably since Danny Jacobs. But I take nothing away from Triple G for the first 2 fights against Canelo. I thought he looked good in both of those. And I think he doesn't receive a lot of credit from a lot of people in the fact that he arguably deserved a win in one of those 2 fights. And then the guys that Canelo has gone through since, nobody has really put up much of a fight against Canelo. So I don't think Triple G really gets a lot of credit for either of those 2 fights, because a lot of people just want him to go away. You know, a lot of people, a lot of boxing hardcore fans really don't want to see the trilogy. I have to admit, as a pay-per-view fight, I'm not all that interested in it. And probably, I said this the other day, I don't know if I buy a pay-per-view fight in all of 2022, to be honest with you. That's kind of where I am with boxing. It's only really one fight that I'd pay to see. Who knows if that one can get made. But other than that, I'm just not paying for all of these fights that I'm pretty certain I know the outcome of it all before they go off. I'm tired of paying for shit already. I ain't watched this sport the last 25 years or whatever to not know what I'm looking at, and to just keep paying people to give me what they want me to see. I'm just not into it. So the stoppage. I don't know if I would say that the stoppage came a little quick. I thought maybe the referee could have got it. I don't know. The team threw the towel in. You can't really argue with them. Their man was taking some punishment for about 3 rounds in a row. He wasn't really responding back with too much of anything. He didn't have a lot of power on any of his punches. So I don't know. But the optics of it, and the fact that we know DAZN really wanted Triple G to win, to be available for the fight in September with Canelo, if Canelo gets past Bivol, I don't know. I just didn't like it. I just didn't like it. You know, it was kind of somewhat of a delayed reaction going down from the right hand that he caught. Then he turned away from him totally. Triple G backs away. The referee kind of gets in the middle, and then the dude, Murata, goes down to one knee, and the towel came in. And I know they kind of have a different in Japan, they have a kind of a bit of a different way about officiating fights and what goes in Japan and whatnot. I don't know. I just didn't like it. And I'm really not a fan. I'm really not a fan of fights being out on the horizon, like really nearly done. Because I'm always wondering how's that going to affect the fight that we're watching in real time. But anyway, you know, I don't really hate Triple G. You know, he did fight another title holder in Murata. He gets the stoppage. We get a look at him and see what he's about. Again, you know, he's an older guy. Who knows if he can summon anything? You know, and that is, you know, being out of the ring, since 2019 or whatever, late 2019, that's a lot to ask. You know, that's crazy to be inactive and to be aging. But we got a lot of, that's pretty common in boxing now. A lot of guys only fight once a year or, you know, every, anywhere from 9 to 14 months. A lot of these guys aren't fighting multiple times per year and whatnot. And I think some of the performances are being affected as a result of that. But that's what boxing is nowadays. So maybe with him getting this fight in now and, you know, taking whatever kind of break he takes, get back to training after the fight, and maybe he can come in September and look a little better, possibly. I'm not too optimistic about that. But that's what we got to work with. So other than that, I don't really have a whole lot to say. I mean, the jab was somewhat nice. It was a couple times that Murata went to step to him, and he, you know, the timing was there. The effectiveness of his jab was good, or was what it used to be. He doesn't fight all that well, moving backwards and being pushed backwards. You know, a lot of his defense is really lacking because now that his offensive output isn't at the same level as what it used to be, and the punches, he doesn't string punches together as well as he used to. Now his defense looks a lot worse, and his body language isn't good. You know, he doesn't have a good poker face. So he tells opponents quite a bit of what he's going through and how he's feeling. Like I said, man, he's probably relieved that he can get this, in theory, he can get this last fight in, if everything works out for the trilogy fight in September. He's probably relieved that he can get that off. You know, in theory, have a shot at rectifying that situation with him being 0-1-1 against Canelo. I guess that's what he gets his crack at it. But again, I just, you know, if it is a similar slow start to what we saw today against Murata, I just don't think it would bode well in terms of him somehow having a, I just don't think he can give up, you know, 4 or 5 rounds to Canelo. Not a big volume puncher himself, you know, neither, but Canelo throws punches with bad intentions and throws the right punches, you know, and sets up what he's trying to do. So he makes every punch count a lot better than a lot of fighters. And he usually has a great strategy for what he's trying to do. So, like I said, if Triple G was to look this pedestrian through the first 4 to 5 rounds against Canelo, I don't know if it would be a Pacquiao, Oscar De La Hoya situation, but I wouldn't see him being able to come back, you know, to get into the second half of the fight and really try to mount any kind of real comeback. I think, you know, he's gonna have to, and he had, he had, and that's the thing though. He'd have to, I don't know what weight they would do that at. Would he go up to 68? I can't imagine that he has enough cards to convince or negotiate Canelo coming down to 60. They meet in the middle somewhere, anything like that. I would imagine the deal is just gonna be like, look, you got to fight at 68 or that's it. Take it or leave it. So being an older guy, is that some relief for him that he doesn't have to make 160? But I don't like later in fighters' careers when they get to doing stuff at new weights. The only one who really seems to pull this stuff off in unique fashion with Nonito Donaire going down 1 or 2 weight classes and even flirting with talking about being able to make super flyweight if necessary. But a lot of fighters, when they get to messing around with these different weight divisions and whatnot and moving around as they're older, a lot of these guys don't have the type of success that Donaire is having with it. With a string of knockouts in his last 4 or 5 fights. But so that's another concern. What are the rules of what's the rules for the third fight with Canelo? I don't know. So anyway, not a great win for Triple G. It really for most of us, I don't think it changes our enthusiasm or our anticipation towards the third fight with the Canelo Alvarez. But he did what he needed to do on paper to earn the opportunity. And so, like I said, with getting to work today, get a break, then get back into the gym and maybe bring it all together for at least one more good showing against his best opponent in September. And maybe that's about the best that we can ask or hope for. And he gets, he gets his shot at, beating a guy that's been this rivalry for the last several years. I don't know. Murata, I don't know. Murata's been up and down, decent fighter. Lot of amateur experience and success. Decent, successful pro career and whatnot. Just, it's crazy that the younger, bigger, stronger dude is the one who gives out first. So, like, it is, the win and the victory and the way it played out is a testament to Triple G's fortitude, and his grit. And, despite how we might want to chop up his resume, I really still think I don't know. I don't have a lot of disdain or anything or any ill will towards Triple G. I know the fights, that he didn't fight a Charlo who's been there in the division. He wouldn't fight an Andre who's been there in the division. Some people got tired of his story and his fights and whatnot, but I don't downgrade that much in terms of historical relevance and whatnot. I just don't. Bite Down Boxing. Don't let them count you out. Bet us. Damn, I cannot remember. It's a note, a sticky card downstairs, and I cannot think of what the code is. But if you get on there and you sign up, if you use promo code JOIN125, that'll help me out. I'm out. Peace.